Crystal, I have a FOIA. I got my FOIA back, Crystal, my FOIA Freedom of Information back, and it didn't come back the way I wanted.
Oh, actually, can you share that, what it says?
Yeah, I can. Let me get my Gmail up real fast. I could definitely share what that said. I was kind of bummed. I did a FOIA. I went through all the trouble, and this shows about demystifying the FOIA process. So I think it's important to also share when it doesn't come up with something. We share a lot of our, oh look, Crystal did everything great again, and everything always works out for her. But not me. I keep falling flat on my face. That's just how I roll. I get flat on my face over and over again. So
Well,
I don't know.
A lot of FOIAs come back with like no responsive record. So I'm down to see what language they used to deny you. Or they say like, yeah. And feel free to appeal this, whatever.
Yeah, feel free to appeal. Hold on, the final decision is right here. Oh, it's a Word document. That's why I'm having a hard time. Okay, so I'm gonna have to share a whole window this time because it's not actually in here. All right, here we go. I am going to share my window, and my screen right here is this. All right, so dear requester, can you see that?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
This is the electronic final response to the Freedom of Information Act request to the Department of Homeland Security, dated 4/4/2025, and received by this office on 4/4/2025. You are seeking access to records held by the United States Department of Homeland Security related to 2013 acquisition of Smithfield Foods by Shuang Hui International Holdings, now WH Group, and the broader issue of foreign ownership of U.S. agricultural infrastructure from January 1st, 2012 till December 31st, 2014. We tasked the Office of Chief Information Officer, OCIO, and they conducted a comprehensive search of files within the DHS for records that would be responsive to the request. Unfortunately, they were unable to locate or identify any responsive records as it is past the retention period. Does that seem weird? Past the retention period?
You could put it into ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT to draft an appeal for you.
Good idea. You know what? That's what FOIA Friday is all about. Is this
and
type
ask
of
them
yes.
if that retention period is weird or unconstitutional or something. I don't know. I'm not a lawyer, but ChatGPT kind of plays one on TV.
Exactly. ChatGPT plays the lawyer on TV.
They'll make stuff up. Like, just be wary of that. But
so look at this. While an adequate search was conducted, you have the right to appeal this determination that no records exist within DHS Privacy Office and would be responsive to your request.
And you can also just send in another request with updated dates, because maybe they're still talking about the sale of it, years later. Maybe they're still discussing.
Could be.
There's my fire alarm going off again.
Fire alarm's going off again. Dang it.
How annoying is that sound? Oh, now it stopped.
I think they're probably testing it at your house. That's probably what's happening if it's going on and off again like that. If you need any further assistance or would like to discuss any aspect, please contact below the analyst who processed your request. You may send an email to FOIA, whatever, or you may contact your FOIA public liaison in the same manner. Additionally, you have a right to seek dispute. You have a right to seek. Must be a typo, right? You have a right to seek dispute resolution services.
Interesting. And they just copy and paste this
to
a bunch of people. So how many people got that typo?
Yeah, probably. Well, the Department of Homeland Security, we determined, gets 80,000 requests per month. So 80,000 people got this. Well, there you go. I could call toll free.
Let's put this into ChatGPT right now and see what ChatGPT says about, is there anything draft an appeal to this, and then we can also specifically ask them if the retention period is correct, and if that's a legitimate thing.
Okay, I'm going to open up my chat. I'm in chat right now. I'm going to open up chat. Anybody in the chat, anyone in our chat, I'm going to talk to ChatGPT, but Stephen Summers is here. No intro music, straight down to business. I don't have FOIA Friday intro music yet, Austin. Did you like the All Beings Considered intro music? I'm working on that. We're working on different versions of that. No matter what I do, Crystal seems to hate all of my All Beings Considered music, but I'm trying here. All you can do is wake up every morning and try your hardest. Don't give up is my point. Be like Peter Gabriel. All right, so yeah. Crystal says, no one pleases me. Just keep trying. All right, so I'm going to put this in there. And I'm going to ask chat. What am I going to ask? Hey, chat. Good afternoon. Are you seeing what I'm seeing? No, you're not even seeing what I'm seeing.
No, I'm not seeing it.
Here, hold on 1 second for me. I want to make that happen. We're going to do that. ChatGPT's right here. All right, ChatGPT. Good afternoon. I received this letter in response to my FOIA request. Does it seem weird that there is a retention, what they call it? Retention something. Retention period. Period on this. Should I...
on these documents?
On these documents. Also, would you be so kind as to draft an
appeal letter?
An appeal letter. Great. I try to be super friendly to ChatGPT.
Studies have shown that if you're polite to ChatGPT, they give you better answers.
It's true. It actually works. I think it does. Plus, when they take over, I want them to be friendly to me.
Yeah. I for one, welcome our AI overlords.
Yeah. Oh, ChatGPT says, yes, it does seem a bit odd that documents related to a major foreign acquisition of U.S. agricultural infrastructure, especially one that raised national security and economic concerns, would have such a short retention period, and they are no longer available. Records retention schedules may vary by agency and record type, but for something of this scale, many would expect at least some form of archival or long-term retention. Wow. That's a kind of an indictment, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. We could also follow up. I want to read this whole response, but we could follow up with a question of what is the history of the Department of Homeland Security deciding that 6 years would be their retention period for records?
Oh, good question. So then it's possible that they're being coy or narrowly interpreting your request, or that the documents exist under another component of or classification. An appeal would challenge the thoroughness of the search and question whether the agency complied with proper retention and archival standards.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
What's it say?
Okay, let's read it. To whom it may concern, I am writing to formally appeal the determination made in response to my Freedom of Information Act case, blah, 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 in which I sought records related to the 2013 acquisition of Smithfield Foods by Shanghui International Holdings and the broader issue of foreign ownership of U.S. agricultural infrastructure covering the period from January 1st, 2012 to January 31st, 2014. And its final response, the DHS stated that no responsive records were located due to expiration of the applicable retention period. I respectfully contest this determination for the following reasons. Insufficient justification for retention period. The response letter did not provide the specific record retention schedule or authority under which potentially responsive documents were disposed. Wow. Okay.
Some gaslighting language, but okay. I'll go with it.
Yeah, I mean, given the national and economic security implications of foreign ownership of agricultural sector, an issue that likely intersects with DHS's mission, such records would presumably have enduring administrative, legal, or historical value meriting long-term retention. Reasonableness of search. I am concerned that a full and proper search may not have been conducted across all relevant DHS components, particularly those responsible for national security risk assessments, agricultural infrastructure, or foreign investment oversight. It is not clear whether offices such as the Office of Policy, the Office of Intelligence and Analysis, or others were tasked with searching their records.
Yeah. Good point.
Okay, that's a good point. Yeah. Number 3, archival obligations. If records were in fact destroyed, I request confirmation that their disposal followed applicable federal records management laws, including compliance with the National Archives and Records Administration guidelines. I kind of like Chat's actually acted. I'm making a radical activist out of Chat. I respectfully request that the department conduct a new comprehensive search across all appropriate DHS components, including any archival holdings, and provide a more detailed explanation of the record disposition if applicable. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Please do not hesitate to contact me.
Copy and paste, send that. That's great. And also, next question for Chat. What's the history of this 6-year retention period? Like, let's see if they know anything about that.
Oh, look at this. I've never seen this. Would you like me to turn this into a PDF or Word document for easy mailing or printing?
Oh, interesting.
I've never seen this before. Okay, I'm going to ask you, what is, thanks. This is great. I'm going to paste it into the body of an email. But could you also tell me what the history is behind DHS determining a 6-year retention? No, I made that 6-year. Someone else told me a 6-year thing, determining their retention.
Yeah, period.
DHS must follow Federal Records Act and guidance from the National Archives, NARA. Records are classified as either temporary or permanent. Each agency must develop records retention schedules that specify how long each type of record must be kept. Approved by NARA. This has to be approved by NARA, and disposal records outside of these schedules is not permitted. I mean, hey, the DHS retention schedules are set by these guys, the OICIO, ICE, and CBP Office of Intelligence and Analysts. Work with NARA to establish those schedules. The general records schedules provided by NARA are sometimes used for common records like email, budget, personnel files, while agency-specific schedules are developed for unique record types, like national security assessments or investigation, which is something that we were asking for. What affects the length? The length of time retained depends on operational value, legal value, historical value, sensitivity, and classification. That's the thing. I find it total bullshit that they've disposed of them.
DHS, I mean, we have CIA records from back in the day.
Kennedy. Yeah, but that's the thing. They're like, this was a national security issue that raised a lot of things. And Austin asked, why DHS? Maybe that's not the best agency for this. Well, DHS, to be fair, was just the first one on there that we decided because it happened to be, it was considered a national security risk at the time, and that there would have been, in 2013, it was a big hullabaloo about a Chinese government buying a company that provides 25% of pigs to consumers in America. So it was an issue that was widely talked about. So there's no way that there wasn't an investigation. There would have been some kind of chatter, something. I'm a bit incredulous that there's nothing. And I kind of wanted to give up until Crystal told me to keep going, because I felt like kind of a bummer.
Yeah. And I also asked ChatGPT, like, who's the next, what FOIAs related to this should I file next? See what they say.
Ooh, okay. Yeah. All right. Okay. So we're not done. Hold on. Let's see. Surveillance related activities. Okay. So sensitive retention. Some FOIA-related guidance encourages agencies not to destroy records that could be subject to a FOIA request or litigation hold, which is why it's questionable that a high-profile subject like foreign acquisition of critical infrastructure would be purged within a decade.
Yeah. CNN.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I hope
Totally.
Joe Rogan, are you watching this? Deep dive this.
Yeah, talk about deep state, right?
Scandal.
DHS has faced criticism in the past for inconsistent record keeping, especially concerning immigration enforcement and surveillance-related activities, which makes your skepticism completely valid. Thank you, chat. I thought it was weird.
Also, side thought, I was just thinking the other day, I never been on my radar before, Howard Stern.
Yeah.
Do you think that should be a goal?
What should be a goal?
To get on Howard Stern and talk about this shit.
I think a lot of people still listen to Howard Stern. It might be still he's actually more interesting than when I listened to him when I was a kid. Howard Stern was kind of a little bit nasty. But when I was a teenager, I thought that was hilarious. And now he's kind of grown up. He's doing more kind of cerebral stuff. He's doing more pop culture stuff. It might be interesting. Yeah. And Howard Stern's less of a dirtbag than Joe Rogan. Maybe just because he's getting advanced in years and he's let some of his douchery kind of wash out. He's apologized for things and stuff, you know. Like there's something about that, right? That counts for something. He got older. He said, he apologizes for some of the shit that he did, and he's less of a gross guy. Is Howard Stern still around? Yeah, he's on one of those satellite. Well, now it's all one satellite radio, right? Satellite radio of some kind.
Yeah, I saw something. God, what was he? He just had on somebody, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. Who did he have on? Oh, the White Lotus guy. That's what it was. Like the White Lotus.
Oh, I really like that guy. Mike White.
Yeah. And it was a really interesting little video of how to respond to a PR crisis and how Mike White responded to his PR crisis by going on the Howard Stern show. And
I didn't know he had a PR crisis.
It was because his musical guy who did his theme song was like, I'm not having anything to do with that show anymore. I'm not doing the next season.
Oh, really?
And Mike White went on the Howard Stern show to like talk about the drama and was like, yeah, they're hurt. You know, it reminded me of a lot of things in animal rights, actually, and how some people responded to it by doing the long stream. And I didn't do my long stream about it. And that maybe was a failing on my part.
You want to do a long stream? You want to do a 10-hour stream?
The trauma of like, hey, there are some things being said about me. And I just want to clear the air and set the record straight about why some of those things might be being said about me. And it has cost me speaking engagements and donors. And let me just tell you from my side of the story what happened. And maybe people might empathize with me and not view me as such a bad guy.
Did it work for Jimmy Cashby?
I don't know where Jimmy Cashby stands in the eyes of the veganosphere, the veganosphere.
Controversial in the veganosphere. I like him. I'll go on record. I think he's a good guy. I like him.
He's honest, at least. You know. There's
I have a good time when I talk to him. I think he cares about the animals. I think he kind of got taken about that with that crypto stuff, but not really. A lot of people got taken with the crypto world. A lot of people got screwed on it. I'm not really going to hold someone to. A lot of people sold some NFTs. A lot of people, things like that happen, you know. Yeah. I don't think he was trying to rip anybody else or off or anything. So anyway, maybe you should do a 10-hour live stream like he did. He did like 10 hours.
He did a 10-hour live stream?
It was long, man. I don't know. It was so long. It was something like, it was really long.
Yeah. It's been on my chest, you know, as you know, I've been talking about it behind the scenes for a while, and it's the people's, I was just thinking today about somebody who will no longer talk to me anymore. And it's like, oh, we used to talk on a regular basis and now you're not talking to me because you've heard one side of the story and you've never heard my side of the story.
Well, if
Hmm.
you ever, I'll put it out there. If you ever need someone to do the live stream with you, I will be there for you. You
Okay.
tell me when. You tell me when. You tell me how long. I will set aside that
Yeah.
time, and I will. I will be, because usually it's best when you do have somebody else to talk to on it. Like Jimmy Cashby had his wife sitting next to him the whole time,
Mm.
and so they were able to like talk through some things and look at stuff, and they were bringing up things, and he showed receipts, and he was trying to show people like, I didn't rip anybody off. Here it is. Here's and he's had like, these are emails to me, and he showed them on the screen, and it was good. I thought it was. I didn't watch all of it because a lot of it just feel like, but I think there were a lot of people who did. So
Yeah. Neil says, Crystal, since you've lost opportunities and donors, have you looked into a defamation libel suit? Some lawyers would take your case on contingency. Here's the thing. I just don't want to do that because this person is very litigious and has been shown they're willing to absolutely stretch the truth
Well, also
and
it
are,
would never be over. That's the
yeah,
thing that sucks too.
that's
Once you start down that road, it's
years.
never over. Yeah, I've had.
This person who did this to me also sued somebody else merely for leaving a voicemail on somebody's phone
Mhm.
about something that they heard. And
Yeah.
3 years later, this was still like a lawsuit thing. And I don't want to waste energy. I want to just say my piece and be done with it.
That's a
And
good. Yeah.
if the vegan donors and animal rights donors and uh, conferences still don't want to donate to me and don't want me to speak, and people don't want to collaborate with me after hearing my side of the story, fine.
Well,
Like,
I think
then
that
I
serves
just
as a great
know.
artifact too, though, Crystal, because like what James Aspie, Jimmy Cashby, this is like his rapper name now.
Mhm.
Now he loves it now because he's like, you got a problem with it? You want to call me out for something now? That question was answered on this live stream. Here's a link. You can watch
Yeah.
it all. Every question that you could possibly have about me regarding it's all on that. Watch it. And I think that's great. It's like that, I feel would be a huge lift off someone's chest
Mhm.
because you're able to be like, "Oh, yeah, I've heard that question before. Go here. I'm not
Here's
gonna
the
read." Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's a link. Watch it.
Yeah, and the person who did this to me loves to fight, and I don't like to fight. I'm not a fighter. I wanna just do good work for the animals. I don't wanna
Yeah.
fight people.
Yeah.
I don't wanna argue, but this person loves it, loves to fight, and loves to create drama, and I don't want to.
Well, it's got
So
to
I'm
get through me to get to you.
Yeah.
I got a one fist is iron, the other one's steel. If the left one don't get you, the right one will.
I'm about, like, my ongoing just investigations of the AVMA and animal agriculture.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's interesting, and their ongoing deplatforming of me not able to speak at conferences at the AVMA conventions and stuff. I think, that's a an ongoing. I'm not like fighting them, this personal
Mm-hmm.
vicious character is like, I don't the way that this other guy does it is so vicious. And it's like an animal rights community. It's like, I'm about promoting animal rights, and here this person is about tearing down other activists who voice
Mm-hmm.
concerns, and that's not right. But this is FOIA Friday. This isn't about that. But that got me on that tangent. I want
It's a
to,
good tangent. I think you should think about it. I
yeah,
would just like, if you wanted to do it, say I'm going to do an hour about the one thing, an hour about the other thing. I'm going to try to cover it all. Just go as
yeah.
long as you can, as long as you want to talk about it and go. Um, all right, but what's interesting though here is kind of fun. So why might DHS say past retention period? They said they may have only searched temporary operational error records rather than the broader, potentially permanent policy or intelligence files. They also could have just been it could have been just a convenient explanation. Citing a retention period can sometimes be a way to close a request without deeper review. Makes sense because their records are classified or housed elsewhere. Real disposal. It's possible they did, in fact, destroy their certain records under a NARA approved schedule, but that doesn't necessarily mean all related records were destroyed or that search was adequate. And if you ever want their NARA research, their database is right here. Their schedules are right here. recordsearch.nara.gov. You can get their exact retention schedules. Nice.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. So are we going to ask what next FOIA to do related to this, or should we move on to my
Well, let's
FOIA?
ask. Let's ask, and then we could do yours too, because we don't have to do. Because I think before we send another FOIA for my thing with Smithfield, I can appeal this, and then next week I can do another FOIA for the Smithfield thing. We can work on yours. What do you say?
Yeah.
Okay, but let me just ask it. What is your Okay, great. What do you think? Do you think should be my next FOIA request regarding this matter? Matter, right? That you should know it. You're clearly onto something here. Request. That's what I like. The request to DHS office, intelligence, INA, risk assessment, Department of Treasury. But number one, request to DH offices of intelligence and analysis, which likely focuses on IT data systems, but a topic like foreign ownership or U.S. agriculture infrastructure would most certainly fall under offices of intelligence and analysis, especially if there was national security implications.
Should you expand or change the date range? I would say like documents dated. You could send one FOIA request that's just that, but also documents dated more recently from this date to that date, because maybe they're still talking about it.
Yeah, I'll ask. Do you think we should do it?
Yeah.
Case more recent discussions of this sale have transpired. Absolutely, yes. That's a sharp instinct. Adding a second, more recent date range can be a smart way to capture retrospective analysis, newly surfaced concerns, or internal reviews that might have happened after the sale of 2013. And especially in light of rising scrutiny of foreign ownership of U.S. farmland, especially from China, COVID-era supply chain concerns, and bipartisan calls to restrict foreign influence over food systems. So two ranges in one request.
I like
do
that.
2012 to 2014, and then do 2019 to present.
Yes.
Why 2019? That's roughly when concerns about China and the critical infrastructure started getting a more political oxygen. Great. This is so good, actually. I'm impressed. This is so much. This is such a fun way to use ChatGPT. This is what I mean. Like when John was talking about, well, there's no, like,
he had some good points, though.
He did.
I don't think you should use it rely on it so much for writing, like, and to connect ideas and stuff, because I think you're connecting your own ideas to things is better, but you could use it as a coach.
But look what I've done in this case. I've been like, okay, I was connecting these ideas, and then I went to ChatGPT and said, does this make sense to you? And they're like, and it's like, yeah, I think it does. And here's how it does. You know, it helps. Because like I was saying, I don't always have all right, hold on. One of the things that has bothered me since graduating from college is that I don't always have people that are smart around me anymore. I don't have someone who I can discuss the merits of a Bildungsroman versus a epic poem of, I don't have
I think we need to do a better job of getting those people in person, though. Like, and we have a platform, and we can reach out to more people and get more people like John and other people to come and educate us about things too. Like there's some people I definitely want to have on FOIA Friday once we get back from New York, because when I can sit down and plan, and I've been focused on so many other things. I haven't really planned out these FOIA Friday things as well in advance as I'd like to, but in the future we will have like some lawyers on to discuss these
That'd be
things
so
with.
cool, right?
But for
Yeah.
now, we have ChatGPT
Yeah.
to help us.
There might be someone watching right now that's like, oh, they shouldn't use ChatGPT because,
Yeah,
well, school me, get on the show, school me, come on.
yeah.
Concerns about China infrastructure getting more politically offshoot. Okay, so then bonus term include retrospective or reassessment. Add this to your language. Please include any retrospective analysis, reassessments, or policy memos that discuss the implications of the 2013 Smithfield.
That's good.
Yeah, want me to update one of the draft FOIA requests?
Yes, please.
Yes, I think so too.
So that I can copy and paste it and ready to
go. Maybe in the appeal? Could that work?
No, if you're don't draft a FOIA request in the appeal. The appeal is a separate thing. You send that off, good to go. And then make separate FOIA requests with this new information that ChatGPT suggests.
Okay, and this is for INA. So this is for the next one. This is great. I like it. If any portion of the requested records are classified or otherwise exempt, I request that non-exempt portions be released as provided under FOIA's partial disclosure obligations. This is great.
What's a VON? Go back down. What did it say at the end of I request a VON something?
I request a VON index describing any withheld records or
what's a VON index?
Oh no.
Let's ask that.
A VON index is a legal document that federal agencies use to justify withholding documents under a FOIA. It's named after the court case Vaughn versus Rosen, which established that the government must explain why it's withholding records rather than just saying, we can't give you this.
Okay, cool. All right, so are we ready to look at my FOIAs?
Yes.
Okay, let's see. I'll go, let's do this one first. Let's see. Nope, I don't want to remove that. Stop screen, present, share screen. This is a FOIA I got a while ago asking the Oregon Department of Agriculture. Let's see if this, why is this not popping up? Hold on.
Yeah, Stephen Summers says, describe my story of my entire life. Yeah, like there's people living out in Oklahoma, Elkville, Oklahoma, Elk City, Oklahoma, that are like, man, I don't meet so many smart people anymore. You know, I remember people, because I knew in college people would be like, well, I'm going home to BFE wherever they live, and I'm going, how is that? Well, I always wanted to go back with my degree and use it back home. I'm like, you're never going to have an interesting conversation again. That's difficult.
Well, that's why you have to make an effort to reach out to interesting people and talk to them. And
that's true.
You know, it's not easy, but can you see this, by the way?
I can, yeah. And I do, but I mean, sometimes it's hard because I'm talking about FOIAs. I mean, I didn't always have a Crystal Heath who told me about how FOIAs work and stuff. You know what I mean? You got to.
Yeah. I've just been so busy and I haven't done this very much, but like when somebody writes an interesting article or whatever, like I'll totally reach out to them, like follow them on Twitter and DM them and stuff. And I've gotten to talk to some interesting people that way. They don't always want to be on a live stream and talk, you know, but I've gotten, you know, a lot of good feedback on some things that I've written and stuff like that from them. So, and that's kind of how I met John too. So.
Yeah, I used to, you know, it's funny. I used to write, if someone had an interesting book, I would read and I would reach out, because in literature, it's funny because in fiction and poetry, you think that these people are so big because they got a book published, but there are actually not many people reaching out to those folks.
Yeah, I was shocked. Some people who I thought, oh, they're going to be super busy, and they, you know, they're not super busy.
Plenty of time to respond. Yeah. And if you can't get a hold of them, because back in the old days, I used to write letters to the the author, if I read a book that I liked from a contemporary author, I'd write the publishing house, care of the publishing house.
Oh, wow.
And they would get the letter like in the mail.
And
So
now it's so easy, and we're
yeah,
not
you're on
doing
Twitter
that
or some
enough.
shit. You're
We
totally
gotta,
right. You're totally right.
we got to do that more. So this is interesting. So this is going into like the depopulations in Oregon, and Foster Farms is in Oregon, and they had a couple of avian influenza outbreaks. This is really interesting because you see these email chains, and you have all of these producers on this email chain, like they're all talking about it together.
Yeah.
And I'll pull up some of the interesting ones here. Let's see. So this one has their justification. I have to unshare because I don't have the ability to share windows yet on this computer because I have to grant permissions and I have to close down Chrome to do that and reapply my permissions and stuff.
Yuck.
So I haven't done that yet, but I will by the next live stream. Presents, share screen.
This is a perfect time to remind everybody that if you haven't already signed our Stop the Fireworks on SavePluto.org, please do it. SavePluto.org. We're still pushing that. Please sign our document to send a letter to Disney Corporation to make their nighttime celebrations more magical and less harmful.
Excellent. So this Marion 2, this is a Foster Farms facility, is approved with VSD as a depopulation method, which, if you don't know, if you haven't followed us, VSD is ventilation shutdown plus. This is where they seal up buildings, pump in heat, and wait for the birds inside to die.
Wait a second. What's the plus part?
Heat. Plus
heat. In what form? Isn't it steam? Did you tell me it was VSD plus?
You know, with birds, I don't know. So there was just some recent studies done to approve VSD plus steam with birds for the PVC pipes to make because you can kill the birds at lower temperatures with their steam. Like, you know, you can be in a sauna that's 175 degrees and you'll be fine for 30 minutes, but you add steam to that and you're going to die quite rapidly. But they weren't always using steam for birds. So I don't know if they were using steam here. The problem with steam too is you have to get it just right because it splatters and you can have hot water splattering on birds, scalding them. So you got to get that technology right. So I don't know if they use steam here or if they just used heat, but that's the deal.
Understood. Okay. Sorry. I want to make sure. I always thought VSD plus, I thought the plus was for steam.
Not with pigs. Yes, we know that was the case, but not always for birds.
Wow. Well, I hate that it's like, well, for this species. All right. We can talk all day about VSD plus, but go ahead. Sorry. I think we covered it enough for these purposes. Tell me what's up.
Here you can see approximately 150,000 broilers in this barn that is 45 feet by 380 feet. Oh, I wonder if there's 6 barns. 45 feet to 380 feet. What documentation needs to be completed if VSD Plus is approved? And is it correct that either a state or federal veterinarian needs to be physically on site during VSD Plus operation to monitor welfare, temperatures, etc.? Lastly, it is correct that a state or federal representative, technician or veterinarian should physically be on site daily to monitor activities before, during, and after VSD Plus. So this is a question. Let's see what they say. Here's like their little questionnaire. Operational factors considered to implement the use of VSD Plus. The need to implement alternative depopulation methods to meet the depopulation goal and the use of VSD Plus will be handled on a premise by premises basis.
Okay.
With close coordination and collaboration by state and APHIS concurrence on that decision. In selecting the depopulation method and considering VSD Plus, the following interrelated questions can help guide the decision. Which depopulation methods can be executed safely and effectively? Safely for who? Safely for who?
Right, not for the animal.
What are we talking about? And on the premises within 24 to 48 hours. So this must be their answers to in red here. The state began depopulation of an additional premises with a state-owned FOMR, We were able to depopulate 2 of 20 houses on that premises, but we have exhausted our stockpiled foam concentrate. Wow. Like, planning here, people.
Yeah, right. I mean, okay.
NVS supplies, which this is in the National Veterinary Stockpile Supplies, are not available within 24 to 48 hours. That's because correct me if I'm wrong, anybody, I don't know the details. From what I've learned, we have one contractor now to do these depopulations, when in the past we had multiple, and that's this Crystal Clean company, the Patriot, what's it called? Patriot Services or something like that, under Patriot Services. We FOIA'd that last week.
Right.
NVS supplies are not available within 24 to 48 hours of presumptive positive due to the size of the operation already being depopulated, the size of this operation, 6 additional barns, and the length of time that it will take to get National Veterinary Stockpile supplies. No other feasible options exist. So this is why we see ventilation shutdown being used, because really
no other feasible options, which is BS.
Corporations sort of just depend on the government to take care of this for them. They don't put plans in place to exterminate and the lives of their birds during emergencies. And the US government is completely unprepared to deal with the situation. And that's why.
And the producers, they're getting now, for anybody who doesn't know, the Washington Post just published that the new administration is going to increase the payout to these companies who are recording record profits from $7 per bird to $17 per bird from your taxpayer, from our taxpayer, our tax dollars. Now, why would they care how they just want to do it cheap and fast, right, Crystal? Isn't this, it's like everything in these businesses, if we don't tell them how to do it, they're going to do it the cheapest, quickest, and that usually is the worst for the animals. Cheapest and quickest is usually the worst for the animal.
And at least...
and the worker.
We have veterinarians' input on this. In theory, the USDA reached out to the AVMA to draft the guidelines on depopulation. But unfortunately, instead of the veterinarians saying, this is the standard, you have to use high expansion nitrogen foam, which is the least cruel method. All other methods are not recommended. This is what you as producers have to plan for. And like, we all see those like posts on social media of, hey, owners, dog and cat owners, plan for emergencies. Like, what's going to happen if there's a fire? Make all these plans. We never see those posts of like, hey, $billion producers, when you have 1 million birds, plan for emergencies, invest in infrastructure to exterminate your birds during disease outbreaks. We don't get that. No, the veterinarians, the ones who set the standard, are saying ventilation shutdown is okay. And that's why this is so wrong. This is why the whole system is messed up.
Yes.
Because veterinarians are the ones who have the say-so to say, like, no, it's not acceptable. And yet we're not saying it's not acceptable.
Yeah. And I think that this is why we were talking about a while back, and I'm kind of re-jazzed about it, of getting like that info card about VSD plus and getting people to go to their vets and just leave it with them and leave them like a stack of what VSD is, and just something that's really not too thrash, not too graphic, I guess. So they're not completely, just something informational for.
Yeah. Everybody asks, well, what are they supposed to do? That's the first question anybody asks. And we say, they need to put plans in place to use high expansion nitrogen foam. And by the way, even if the AVMA guidelines said VSD plus is not recommended, it doesn't mean that producers can't do it. Right. It just means under current systems, they wouldn't get taxpayer funded indemnity payments for it. That might change. Maybe they'll change the current systems, but all veterinarians should be like, producers need to at least put plans in place to use less cruel methods.
There's something about it like not being in my name too. I remember it's just like not in my name. And if I'm a vet, you're doing that in my name. in a
Yeah.
way. I think if I'm a vet, I would say, you're not in my name. I'm not signing off on this. I don't think this is okay.
Yeah.
Don't do this in my name. You're saying that vets are okay with this? Well, they're not.
Yeah. And okay, so this next question is, what are the potential epidemiological consequences of virus amplification on the premises should the 24 to 48 hour goal not be met on the premises? And they say this is the primary company owned premises of a large integrator in Oregon. Their feed mill that supplies all of the integrator's poultry in Oregon and Washington is located on an adjacent premises. Additional delays in depopulation beyond 24 to 48 hours poses significant risk of lateral exposure to numerous other broiler premises in both Oregon and Washington serviced by the same feed mill. Additionally, delays in depopulation will lead to additional virus spread and amplification on the farm, creating a higher risk of spread through feed trucks, as well as additional welfare concerns for the birds. And this is the next question, are large densities of poultry in the surrounding area that would be at risk of virus amplification? Are there large densities of poultry in surrounding area that would be at risk? There's approximately 2.5 million table egg layers within the control area or immediately outside the control area. All table egg flocks in the surrounding area are cage-free organic flocks. Could a depopulation time of greater than 24 to 48 hours be feasible if the lateral spread can be mitigated through biosecurity measures, particularly in a facility without large densities of poultry or high-value flocks in the surrounding area? No, due to the proximity of other poultry farms and the adjacent feed mill, it is not my opinion that the potential for lateral spread can be appropriately mitigated on this premises. As SAHO,
so these questions are being answered by
by Samantha Bruce, veterinary medical officer for APHIS.
But who's posing the question, or this is just the form that she's filling out when she's there at the when she goes to the farm and she's like, okay, what's the assessment when it comes to these?
This is being sent to the APHIS Avian Indemnity, so they need to get this signed off
in order to get their cash,
so that the producer can get indemnity payments for using VSD. So they need to justify their use of VSD, and so this is how they do it. These are like the
crazy
the questions.
So then the vet rolls up and it's like, all right, and they're filling out these things, and then they get the big check. Wild.
And this is the vet's got to do, the government vet who doesn't work for the company is doing all this work to make sure that the company gets their paycheck. So that's
right. The government vet. Yeah, we're paying for her time to do this too. Take your time, doctor. Take your time. You can take all the time in the world. It's taxpayers picking up the check.
She says, I do not believe that foam depopulation can be carried out humanely given the logistical constraints. Additionally, due to the proximity of the feed mill and large poultry flocks, I believe 48 hours is the absolute longest that can allow for depopulation of flocks, which is not possible with foam or deep CO2 depopulation. Is there a strong, because they can't get the foam, I guess. I'd love to know logistical constraints. Is there a strong opposition from the producer owner on any given method that, given the answers to the previous questions? The owner or producer have requested VSD plus due to the inability to timely depopulate by foam. What other resources are required for either CO2 or water-based foam or other methods? Whole house CO2 would require more CO2 than is currently available within Oregon. Foam would require at least one additional foam unit beyond what is needed at the other current broiler facility and 300 gallons of foam concentrate. Neither of these are available through the National Veterinary Stockpile until at least Friday.
So that's what she means by it's not going to be able to be done in 48 hours because we don't have the juice. All right, then they should be forced to have the juice on board. We're killing too many.
Producers should have this available. There should be contracts ready, and there's lots of supply problems with CO2 because
Mhm.
beverage companies use CO2. But nitrogen is readily available. Our atmosphere is 70% nitrogen. And
Yeah.
that's
We have machines that pull nitrogen out of the air, and yeah, we are able to. We have machines that do that with carbon dioxide, though. Too, to be fair, these
yeah.
machines are just expensive. But if you're going to have 5 million birds, or however many birds we're talking about right here,
I
we
don't
should
know
have.
about the CO2, pulling CO2 out of the air thing.
Yeah,
I know that there are like these,
no, we do it all the time in order to carbonate beer and stuff. That's how we get the carbonation for
you get it from the air?
some like major facilities. They have it, but like the breweries that I've worked at, no, we buy it. But
Yeah.
they have those facilities that sequester carbon, or they carbon dioxide. They make carbon dioxide. They're manufacturing it from pulling shit out of the air, though. They're these massive units. I've seen them. And the nitrogen one too, they've got this massive one. It's like I think it's called the Haber cycle with nitrogen. And they
Mm.
invented it so that they can make artificial friggin fertilizer, actually, because they need nitrogen into the earth. But yeah, they suck it out of the air. You could suck out all sorts of stuff out of the air, but you know, you need to grab it and put it in a can, right?
I want to find I think there's some sort of natural reserve of CO2. I read about this a while ago. Let me see if I can
There's a
find that
national
one.
reserve of helium that we keep in the caves of Utah and all over. We
Mhm.
keep them in the caves. We bought all of helium from Canada too. It's kind of, that was during the space race. We bought all the world's helium, and we still have it. American Reserve of helium, probably of.
There's Jackson Dome in Mississippi is one of the largest natural CO2 reservoirs in the
Uh,
US.
yeah.
Other smaller reserves exist in Colorado, New Mexico, and Utah.
Mm-hmm.
There are similar natural gas wells. CO2 is extracted from porous rock formations and then processed for food and beverage use. Most CO2 in beverages actually comes from a byproduct from ammonia production, ethanol plants, hydrogen production, cement, steel manufacturing.
All sorts of
Some
stuff.
large-scale beverages or fermentation facilities capture the CO2 they naturally produce during fermentation, like in
Yeah,
Canada doing, and reuse it.
that's what they're doing. They're because the fermentation is creating carbon dioxide, and then it captures it. So like at when you go to like Anheuser-Busch, when you go to the one in LA, there's one right by where you live. There's a big giant Anheuser-Busch, and they used to do tours. They'll probably still give you a tour, and they've got those sequestering units, or what do they call it? Capturing units.
Mm-hmm.
They're
Yeah.
massive.
I did the Budweiser tour in Fairfield
Mm.
once. It was interesting.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. Do you know that fun fact, in Star Trek, the new ones with J.J. Abrams, when they're running around and there's all these machines and stuff inside of the Enterprise, they're actually running around an Anheuser-Busch brewery. Yeah.
Wow. That's cool.
Because it looks so futuristic with all the
Yeah, all the
stainless
pipes and
steel
stuff.
and
Interesting. Oh,
yeah.
that's very cool. So where were we? Back to the horror.
The horror.
Um,
Back to carbon dioxide, what they use it for when they kill a bunch of animals.
uh, okay, let's see. They're saying no. Sufficient personnel trained. VSD, yes. Foam depopulation, no. Is ventilation shutdown plus possible on the premises given the house construction and environmental? Blah, blah. Yes, the barns can reach temperatures of 115 degrees within 1 hour, and fully stocked, they can reach 104 to 110 in well under 30 minutes and maintain temperature. Additionally, delays will lead to additional mortalities, through which will reduce the population of the houses and possibly make VSD more difficult, which that's an interesting fact to, like, that when they're dead bodies, they don't produce as much heat, so it makes it more difficult.
Ooh, that is interesting. So
Mhm.
as they die, they produce less heat, making the other ones die more slowly. Is that what the thing is that we're talking about here? Like, what's the?
Yeah, I think they might absorb heat too,
Ooh,
and
yeah. Oh my gosh, that's
stop that.
horrific. Well, if we're now just No, I don't want to get too morbid, but like, why aren't they using carbon monoxide? Why aren't they just using carbon
Because
monoxide
that would pose a lot of safety
to the
hazard to
worker?
the workers, and it would be
Yeah.
all over the place. And carbon monoxide's expensive too. I mean, there were studies the students did on using a gas engine exhaust to
So I
kill
was going to say, just
pigs.
use a car engine like they did in the, you know,
I
sometimes in the dark
mean,
times of American human history, or no, not
yeah,
American, but human history.
but that's, yeah, I think you'd need a lot of car engines exhaust to do that in these big facilities. Okay, so this, let's see what happened here. So this place, Deschutes 8 State Veterinarian Preferred, and I don't know what that is. Announcement. Lab results. Depopulation using foam began. Depopulation activities resumed. On 11/15 using VSD plus. Let's see. I guess that's not too interesting. I guess I don't think we've shown proof wise that this is Foster Farms yet. Let me see if I have the proof here that
But
this
this
is
all came
actually.
back in FOIA, huh? This is amazing.
This is where your state ag department records and animal health board records can get you some really interesting information. So, is this the one? Hold on. I don't know if this is, hold on, what I'm looking for. Oh, proof. Is this? I wanted to follow up. Is it that said it was Foster Farms?
You know, on mine, it said that I had to print out I have to print out the letter and then mail them the letter. This is BS. I can't just email them. That can't be real, right? They want a letter for my appeal?
They're saying you can't just email it?
They're saying I've got to print it out and mail it to this address.
Huh. I don't know.
Should you wish to do so, you must send your letter. You must send your appeal and copy of this letter within 9 days to the date of this letter to the privacy office. It gives me an address.
You can't. Oh, I don't know what to tell you.
I don't know either.
Let me present this. Stop screen. Present. Share screen. Foster Farms. Okay. I think this is where I just want to prove my case that this was in fact Foster Farms. Here we go. There you go. Right. I will forward to Foster Farms concurrence as soon as I receive it. So that's how I proved it was Foster Farms we're talking about here.
Nice.
So yeah. Anyway.
Foster Farms. They're like the what? How many? How big are they? Are they the biggest in America for their?
No.
Tyson might be the biggest chicken. Foster Farms is second chicken.
I don't know. I actually I'm sure ChatGPT knows.
Yeah.
What are the top 10 chicken producing companies?
Largest is Tyson Foods, Pilgrim's Pride, Sanderson, Purdue, and Foster Farms. Yeah. Tyson. Of course, Tyson's the biggest, right?
Coke Foods is number 6. Mountain Air Farms is number 7. House of Rayford Farms. Then Bell and Evans is number 9, and Cargill Meat Solutions is number 10. There you go. Cargill diversifies, though. They're just because they're number 10 in chicken does not mean they're not number 1 in the world in just agriculture. They're just huge. Another interesting thing I found was this website of, remove that page. Let me try to share my screen here. Animal Health Contacts, USDA. This is, you can find your APHIS area veterinarian in charge in your state. This is great to FOIA. So if there's an outbreak in, say, New York, New York, I can do my alphabet. John Falco is the dude. And I personally am going to draft a FOIA. Oh, it's past 5 o'clock already, so we should be done. But as soon as this live stream is over, I'm going to draft a FOIA to USD APHIS asking for any communications related to avian influenza outbreaks in New York over the past, I don't know, since maybe just recently, 2024 to 2025, because there's a lot happening in Queens. And I also plan to FOIA the New York Department of Health to see if there's any conversations happening about the avian flu outbreak in Queens slaughterhouses and the risk to public health, because I think that'd be interesting. So I'm going to find some New York Health Department people to talk about that too, or to FOIA their communications.
And all this stuff about New York, maybe you can segue into telling people what we'll be doing in New York starting tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll be in New York tomorrow, and I'll be speaking at Long Island University on the 15th. Then we'll be driving to Ithaca on the 16th and speaking at Cornell on the 17th, all day, like Marianne Sullivan's law school class, and then later that evening to a pre-vet group. So join us if you're in the area. I'll just probably be doing media and investigations the 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, those days we'll just
we'll be sneaking around. I got my body cam
sneaking
ready.
Around while also announcing our presence on the internet.
Yes. Well, they're not going to look. They're not going to be looking. We'll be sneaking around the live markets.
You'd be surprised. They follow my.
You think so?
I want to bring pretty good.
I want to bring my high vis vest so they can really tell me. I want to look like an inspector.
Yeah, I'll bring mine too. I got all sorts of.
You got a high vis vest? That's awesome.
Yeah.
That'd be so good.
I got some costumes. I'll bring.
What are you guys doing? Who are you represented? Oh, we're just here taking a look. We're independent inspectors.
I feel like, well, I never want to lie.
We're independent journalists.
Yeah, that's accurate.
That's what we're independent inspectors. I mean, this is how they get around it all the time. I've seen lots of guys do it. They go, we're independent journalists and inspectors. We're independent.
Maybe we should come up with a name of an organization that we're part of and start a new organization called like the Department of Animal Health, the Allied Department of Animal Health or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. I like that. I like where your head's at. The Allied Department, the Allied Health Organization, AHO, or Allied Health.
Allied Health Department.
Allied Animal Health Department. Odd. Because you're odd.
Allied Animal
Health Department. We're from Odd.
Okay.
What? Odd Animal Health Department. Allied Animal Health Department. I love that. That's a good idea. I'm out of cards, though. I don't have any cards, but you can look us up when you got the time.
We'll make cards in the future. I feel like I like
I like
this is going.
Me too. This is a good one. So we'll be in New York. Are you worried about flying at all? I mean, I'm a little bit nervous for the first time in my life.
Sky drinking game. Whenever you're scared, nervous.
I know, right?
Just drink.
Totally. But it's going to be early. I'm going to be flying early, so I'm going to pack up my stuff tonight and hopefully won't forget anything. But I'm going to pack up the computer, and
I've got so much equipment to bring.
Are you going to check a bag?
Oh, yes. I never not, because I've got.
I don't know. Do I get a bag on my? I don't think you got me a bag. I'll
pay for it if you need a bag.
I don't know if I do or not for a week. I don't know if I do. It's just computer stuff all the time. That's always the pain in the ass, because that's the stuff you want to take on. You want to check your clothes and bring your computer on the
cameras. I've got other stuff. I've got computers. I've got microphones. I so much stuff to bring, and I've got all of the merch.
Oh yeah, you got tons of stuff. Yeah, it's true.
So much stuff. And
Yeah,
I was
no,
thinking, I'm gonna bring spices because I don't want to fucking buy spices at the grocery store for how much when you just use a little bit.
yeah, I'm a great cook if you bring a couple spices, but all you need is like paprika and garlic, and we got it. I mean, they usually have
Chili
salt there.
powder, cayenne pepper,
Chili powder is usually,
cumin.
yeah. I usually say chili powder too. Yeah, I mean, but we could also just do raw food diet for the next week and just do apples and pears. But then why
And
have a kitchen,
bring
right?
protein powder.
Yeah,
We'd go through a whole container of protein powder in a week. So
for
buy
sure.
protein powder there.
Right, we can buy it there. I don't mind. Yeah, just protein powder and apples. But I mean, since we have a kitchen, we might as well get some tofu. We did well with tofu last trip, though. Like we did with some bread and tofu. I made some pretty bomb ass sandwiches throughout the time that we were there. I can live off of those.
Feel like a giant can of black beans with diced tomatoes and onions and like cumin and chili powder and cayenne pepper, and that's the good protein. Like mass make that thing.
So. I've been making my own seitan at the house because I'm on like I'm trying to do everything super budget, and so I've been making my own alternative meats. So I have like Vital Wheat gluten, making my own seitan and stuff. Jackie Boyle says, "Have a safe journey." Thank you, Jackie Boyle. We're gonna have a safe. Thank you. I need that. The rest assured. I'm a tiny little bit worried because of all the stuff that's going on. Great, Sky. Yeah, we're gonna have a good time. We're gonna do some cool stuff. And I got a body cam I'm gonna wear. I'm pretty excited about it. I want to see what's going on over there, and hopefully we'll see a couple of you. I was thinking about maybe doing a cube the first night, but I don't know how we're all gonna feel that first night either. And when are we landing? I forget.
I land at like 3. I forget.
Same time. We leave the same time. We're almost.
So yeah, I got a rental car, so
we should be landing almost on the same time. And the cube starts at 5. It'd be fun just to go and see how it is.
It'd be nice if it worked out, if we can get over there.
It would be.
Where is it?
It's 5 to 8. Someone sent me the details, but there's a cube there. If you guys, if anyone,
Brooklyn or New York City or like Manhattan, or
we're in Queens, right? I think.
Yeah.
I don't know where. I don't know all the details, to be honest with you, Crystal. I'll have to look it up and text you on the way there. But yeah, because tonight I'm just gonna pack up everything and get ready, and I'm gonna watch a little news tonight and try to sleep early because it is an early flight, and I can't. I'm really looking forward. Are you looking forward to it?
Yeah, I'm just my talk. I'm still tweaking it, and I might just talk off the cuff. Who knows? But I want to ask the students some questions about their beliefs and stuff, and too. So I don't know. I'll figure it out.
I'm so excited to see you to see your talk too, because it should be a little bit different than the talks I've seen before, right?
Yeah, it's some of the same stuff, but some new stuff, and I'm still not sure what I should add and I'm trying to cut it because I don't like how my talks are so dense and there's like no time to breathe. And
well, asking questions, I think you'll do it because you do try to put a lot in, but if you have like more of the question and answer stuff, you probably will solve that problem yourself. Thank you, Jackie, for supporting the channel. Thank you so much for doing that. I appreciate that so much. Thank you, Jackie. 3 greens and hearts of courage in the chat, please, for Jackie. I think it's gonna be awesome. I think we're gonna have a really interesting stuff that we're gonna be able to find. I'm gonna charge my camera tonight. Is there anything I should bring that we shouldn't? No, I think I got everything right. Oh, but the other question, because we're going to be in New York, Sensi, thank you. Some cash for an Uber tip. Thank you. Thanks for all you do for the animals. Thank you so much, Sensi.
Thank you
for the Uber tip. Thank you. I think you just bought me a cup of coffee at the airport. I think that's what a cup of coffee costs these days in an airport since the tariffs went into effect. I haven't been into an airport since the tariffs went in, but if you're going to get gouged anywhere, that's where you get is in that terminal, right?
I mean, I'm so grateful. Like I just bought a new MacBook Pro and it was not more expensive. So
you bought it just in time though.
Yeah.
You bought the stuff that was still on the shelf.
And I literally I'm like, I just better buy this now.
Now get it while the good's good. LOL or coffee. Yeah, I don't know. I'll probably bring some coffee with me. I don't know. You can't bring liquid past the gate. So you have not gate, but past TSA. Yeah, and TSA, they're firing a lot of them, so we might not. Luckily, I'm at a small airport. I'm probably cool, but LAX, I don't know. Are you one of those
And
3 hours before?
You gotta, if you're checking bags, you gotta be there 45 minutes before. And so I'm gonna get there
You
super
gotta show up a
early.
little early, yeah, for sure.
You gotta check, yeah.
Yeah. I don't think I'm going to check bags, but the real reason why I asked you this, what do you think is before we go, we should give everyone a kind of an idea of what's happening next week and what our schedule will look at as far as streaming, because there's some people who show up to every single one. So do we know which ones we want to do or which ones we don't, or are we just going to play it by ear?
Yeah, I think it's really not feasible to do any live streams next week, unless there are some other people who might have been interested in hosting for us, but I don't know if that'll happen. I don't think FOIA Friday will happen next week at all. Like, that's just not going to work. So I'm speaking at this other, when I land, when do I land? I forget when I land back home here. That's the Friday. And I should be back home, but I also have another talk I have to do online, and I don't know. I think we just got to cancel next week. I think it's for the best.
Yeah, 18th is that Friday. We'll be home Friday night, but we won't be home in time for this time frame anyway. This time slot won't happen. But we will be live on Monday for KPFT for the vegan morning, the Vegan World Radio on KPFT and 90.1, kpft.org out of Houston. We'll be in New York, but we'll be broadcasting out of Houston. And so if you want to check that out, go to kpft.org. I don't know about Sunday school or not, if we're going to do the vegan show on Sunday, but we might have to cancel. We're going to have to play that one by ear, depending on what we got going on that day, I guess.
Nerds Like Us, is this the Cube location?
Yeah.
So I wonder if that would be good to take the subway to.
Yeah.
Instead of, because driving probably wouldn't be cool.
No, probably
is
not.
Is there parking around there at all?
We could subway it though. Yeah. It could be cool. Chip could steer the ship for us. Chip definitely could steer the ship for us, but it's always about time zones too. We'll be in a weird time zone. So it will be 1 o'clock instead of 10 a.m. for us there on a Sunday in New York. So it depends on what our schedule is looking like. So stay tuned to that one. But if you are interested, we got Vegan World Radio on Monday at 6 p.m. Central Daylight Time. And we've got all sorts of, it's the time zones that is going to screw us. So stay tuned. I was thinking about maybe trying to do my morning show, but do it at 7 a.m. that time. So 3 hours earlier for everybody else. Just to see.
So it would be at 4 a.m. on the West Coast.
No, it'd be 4 a.m. on the West Coast. Yeah. Yeah. But sometimes when you do stuff like that, you get different crowds. Yeah, you get just different people. You get a different audience, and maybe if I did an hour show on the East Coast, I did it when last time I was running around the United States. I just did it local time. I did it 7 a.m. local time, and now I do it 7:30 California time, and I like it. But originally, I wanted to do it like 4 a.m. because I was on the East Coast. It was like. But doesn't work. Good luck on the talk. There's a controversy going on at my Alumnia Atlantic Veterinary College. When I looked into the controversy, I found that there was a lot of American students studying there to become vets. Eventually, I will find someone who can invite you. We'll try. Oh, that sounds amazing.
What's the controversy, though? Like, I want to know it.
What is it? What's the controversy?
What's going on?
It's going to be in the subway station, so you have to pay to get in.
Sorry, I want. That's not the one I wanted to elevate. I wanted to give this TSA pre-check. I am a TSA pre-checker, and I'm all for that. So do that. I'm so happy. I just got my passport today, And I'm super bummed because I handed over my old passport that had a really great photo, and Sky said that they were going to send me my passport back to me, but they didn't.
They didn't?
Mm-mm.
That shocks me. I have all my passports my whole life.
Did you ever have, I don't know, did you ever have to mail it in though to get a new replacement?
Yeah, you always have to mail it in.
You do?
Mm-hmm. You have to hand one in to get one. They don't want them all floating out there.
Huh. Interesting.
So yeah, and then they drill. I'll show you. They drilled 2 holes right through all the pages on all of them.
They just sent me back a new one. They didn't send me back my old one.
Weird. Well, you know
they
what?
Don't want them all floating around there, but they'll give it back to you.
But it's got 2 holes drilled into it.
I don't know.
So they cancel it. There's no way you can use it. It's like completely destroyed. But you have like you can keep it as like your souvenir. It's your document after all. It's not theirs. They don't. It doesn't belong to them.
Yeah. Well, I miss it, and I don't have my stamps from all my trips previously.
You should send a FOIA. That's the thing. Like it's your document. It's your proof of who your shit. You know. It's. I don't think it's okay for them to keep that. And I am not TSA pre-checked. I'm a little bit worried about. So you have to pay something, right? And you have to, and then
it's like $100. But if you're a Chase Sapphire preferred card holder, which does cost $500 a year, but if you pay for your like TSA pre-check and like and you use your card to pay for travel and stuff, you get that $500 back.
Ooh.
And you get priority pass lounge access too, which I have.
That's pretty nice.
So it's worth it, and you get that money back. But you know, so I'm a huge fan of the Chase Sapphire credit card for that.
Thank you, Kathy. Safe trip. I don't know if I'm I think I'm Chase Sapphire. I'm not really sure. I don't spend $500 of fucking euros. I don't know what's right now. I have like that Chase something. $75 for 5 years on TSA pre-check. That's a good deal, actually. But what makes
I got global entry, and it might have been more expensive because global entry is like the global pre-check.
What do you get? You get to cut the line. Is that all you get out of it? Yeah.
And you don't have to take your shoes off, and you don't have to take your laptop out of your bag. And I didn't realize what a pain it was until like somehow I got a boarding pass, and it wasn't TSA pre, and I didn't notice. And then I got there, and I was like, oh, this is a different experience. And
yeah, you're like cattle. Yeah, it sucks. I had to. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't done it. I've just always felt like, you know what? I don't need the government keeping me on. I'll just go through the line like everybody else. I don't know. I've never done it. Never had any trouble. So it's never been such of a problem that I'm like, ugh. Although I did try to set up clear ones, and that like it didn't work with my face or something. So anyway, I need a Trump gold card is what I need. Yeah, $5 million. I'll get that Trump gold card for sure, Mabias. Good idea. All right. Well, so next time we see you all, we'll be in New York. Thank you all for joining. I think you're awesome. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Good chat. Lots of engagement in the chat. We got lots of viewers, so that was good. All my viewers on X. Thank you, X people. Lots of
thank you, X people. Xers. What do you call them? Tweeters?
See,
Xers?
If I left X because I was, all woke and stuff, we wouldn't have that audience.
Woke? What does that have to do with wokeness? To just not like the fact that it's owned by a Nazi?
I don't get people who are leaving X. I don't understand that standpoint. I'm on Blue Sky too, but Blue Sky, you can only post videos that are less than a minute long, and you only have so many words in each post. And you can't go live on Blue Sky. So
you can't go live on Twitter either unless you pay him. You have to pay for that. You
do? Well, I pay for it. So
yeah, exactly. So I mean, you pay Elon Musk for the privilege of posting to his platform.
Having all these viewers. Thank you, viewers on X.
Yeah, thank you, viewers on X. But I mean, to not understand where people are coming from, to not want to be on the platform. Come on. I mean,
I don't know. I'm all in on Elon Musk, I guess, with my car.
You are all in on Elon Musk. He counts you as one of his super fans.
Yeah, maybe I'll be an infiltrator.
You're a muskrat. I think I think that's what they call Elon Musk fans. Yeah, muskrat. Yeah, no, Crystal is woke. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know what that term means anymore. Just like all the terms that we use to describe each other, I don't think any of them mean anything anymore. I don't think there's a difference between I don't think any of the labels mean anything anymore. They're all out the window. We're starting fresh in the new millennium. All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. I think you're amazing. Thank you for everyone who supported the stream, everyone who liked the video, and everyone on X. All you muskrats out there. We'll see you in New York.
Musketeers. I'm a musketeer.
Musketeer. You're a musketeer. All right. Bye, musketeers.